So, oh crap, it's not nighttime. Um,
Huh? What?
we we're a little bit late here. So, Joe and I both actually really had to work yesterday. So
Yeah,
we've
weird.
no time to catch up and create the slideshows to get this stuff ready for last night's show. So worked on it last night to get it up and ready, and we're just gonna go middle of the day. We had some both have time this today to run the show. Um, we we just said, okay, let's just do it middle of the day. We're gonna jump in. We're gonna hopefully you like what we got. There, guys, there's some good, really good covers. There's some exciting covers. There's some interesting books that we're sort of pumped to talk about. So if you're catching us middle of the day, if we have some of our loyal fans, awesome. If you're middle of the day, but also we might be catching some of you that catch it middle of the day in Europe or other places like that. So let's check this out. Let's look at what we got coming and sort of see how it's going. So let me jump in and show us. We'll talk about these three books. These are just some covers I liked. I know some of them are hot. We'll talk about them in a second as we get to them actually in the slides. But this is episode 26. Joe, we've been doing this for well over now 4 months, 6 months actually. We've been doing almost half a year.
Wow.
So it's I've enjoyed it as we've sort of gotten our groove and figured out what we're doing.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. Let's talk about last week. Last week is a couple of books. They're big, but the secret there's no more books. It's hard for a book to catch people by surprise.
Right.
So like I've been talking about the Miles Morales, this is the one for 50. It's going for between 60 and $75. So it's going for over ratio. I see 2 or 3 auctions right now are at the $55, $60 range. I see one listed for sale for I think 75. So it's right there at that weird spot. Avengers Forever. People are buzzing about this book, but I felt like stores knew about this book. So like, I don't know how many. I heard they're selling for like $5 to $10, so a little bit over cover. But I know our LCS that we hit up didn't actually get any copies. They ordered them, they just got shorted. So there's that aspect of it, which well, I don't know how much you follow, but some stores started posting that Grimm 1 second print was allocated is the fun word to say. And stores like to throw out the word allocated because it causes people to panic and run to the store to buy it.
Right.
So I went to our store for the Grimm 1 second print, and there was 50 copies on the shelf for a second print.
I saw that.
Allocated does not mean allocated. Allocated is a store's fancy way of saying, I want to sell these. So if I say allocated, we were shorted. That's different. Shorted, guys, if you don't know what shorted means, that means Diamond didn't send us enough copies. But there's some sitting on the pallet, and they just forgot to send them.
Right.
So as a store, if I want to complain, I can get those copies sent to me. And that's what happens.
Are they going to get in these Avengers Forever?
I follow them on Instagram. They like haven't heard yet, but they usually let us know. Where that makes a store mad is if a book is a hot book for a minute and you live in a city that has 4 shops. Well, guess what? I'm just going to go to the next shop if I really want. So they stores miss their opportunity to sell out of the book. And I'm sure maybe on the East Coast stores were they were shorted copies of Grimm 1, or they were like in our case they were shorted Avengers Forever 6. But that doesn't shorted and allocated are 2 different things, and stores are figuring out they use the word allocated and they can create a buzz to sell a book that might not sell out. And then this is the Once and Future one for 25. It's not as hot as this is issue 26. It's not as high as the issue 25 cover. I love it. I was able to actually pick this one up, paid ratio for it.
Cool.
But yeah, I picked those. You get anything this week?
I got the New Think thing. It was
How
fine.
Was that?
It was fine. It was a little too preachy, I feel like. Well, he decided to be very big. It was like a global. And it would have been better if he told a smaller story that told the same ideas.
But isn't that one that's a new team will be on the next issue type thing?
That's what I read. But it looks like Horowitz is writing them all.
Okay, so but different places.
Different artists every time. But I think he's writing all of
them.
Okay. What else I got? I got the Spider-Man, the cover A that I liked.
Yeah.
And something else, some indie thing that I always pick up, Little Monsters or something. Well, something like that. I don't remember what it was.
So I picked up my box this week, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out last week or the week before.
Yeah.
I opened my copy up, and this will let you guys. Evidently, and I reached out to some people, they didn't have this, so this might be rare. It had a printer error, so let me move this from the.
Yeah, I saw that you posted on.
I posted it on Instagram, but I actually really like it with the printer error. So, like, here's an example.
Except that it's hard to read.
Yeah, you can't read that. So basically, like on some random pages in the book, they forgot to do the last page of black inks. So like, and it's random because it's like one page has it, the other page doesn't, and then but the pages aren't even like in a fold. Like you can they don't trace back.
I was about to ask, are they the four that connected?
I don't think so, but some of them turn out really. Now you're right. You have to really squint hard to read them.
Yeah.
But some of the art looks even better without because this is Romita Jr. and I'm not a giant Romita, especially current Romita Jr. fan.
Right. Back in the day, he was amazing.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's sort of cool. So guys, check your copies. If you're watching this, check your copies. You might have a copy that is like that. So I'm more curious to see how rare that
big
is.
Yeah, I would wonder how big that printing error is, because I would say it's a bunch.
Well, to me, it would have to be at least what Marvel does. They don't all print at the same shop, so they'll have like an East Coast printer and a West Coast printer. So, like the people I was talking to in like CBSI chat, they didn't find it in their copies. They're on the East Coast, so like wherever our store gets their copies, that would be the case. Or maybe ours came from Penguin and theirs came from Diamond.
Right.
So,
did you go back and check?
I haven't had a chance to. I found it last night, so I'm like, I was one of those like, do I reveal or do I not reveal? But printer errors are tricky, and actually, it's my brainstorm. Probably my article that I'm going to write for Fisherman's Tales. Probably going to focus on some of those rare recall, and they're not recall; they're just printer errors, and some of them do have value.
Like that Saga 42 or whatever that was like so dark you could barely see it.
But it's not worth anything. Like I know, it's weird which ones people care.
I liked it so much better than when they finished and then they fixed it.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a few of those out there that are like, okay, no one cares about that particular one, and then other ones are worth thousands. The Fantastic Four 110 is on the cover printer error, and it's worth thousands of dollars.
Cool.
Because but it's awesome because it's like it's green instead of purple. Like it's very noticeable if you find it.
That's huge.
Cool. All right, let's jump in and look at the books coming this week. You and I both hate the fact that we were showing an Aquaman book.
Yes, but I mean the two names at the bottom of this book, Ram V and Christian Ward, we're both high on all the time.
Yes.
And I mean, Christian Ward doing underwater stuff is going to be beautiful.
Yes.
Like, duh. The solicitation is weird. There's like spaceships and stuff that they're talking about. So, and it's Black Label. So that probably means there's 3 issues of it. So we know it's a self-contained little thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't touch the rest of DC Worlds. I might read an Aquaman book.
Yeah, that's I mean, the concept of a spaceship graveyard out in the middle of the ocean, and then like, yes, you get Black Mantis, who's of all the Aquaman character people, like, okay, I can deal with the fight.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool looking. But I'll tell you, the last time I read an Aquaman book on purpose was when he lost his hand.
Oh wow! So back in the 90s,
in like 1994, 5, 6, something like that. Yeah, that was the last time that I was like, "Oh, cool! Aquaman is cool."
And there's actually some good like Alex Maleev did some covers and
yeah. But I just never got into Aquaman.
Yeah.
Batman, I've heard of him.
So, and you said this, you're like, okay, I didn't even check this one out because the next issue, 125, Zdarsky takes over and starts his arc. So this is the end of Williamson's run. But I got excited. This random 1 for 25 cover in the center is by this artist, and I can't pronounce the name, Fibula Brakim. It's a new artist who did.
Yeah.
He's done a couple of Scout books. But it's
got some Jeff Darrow feels to it, which is what I like.
It's one of those. This is not an artist it's an acquired taste type of artist. So it's one of those. But you and I have this taste every once in a while. So I really,
Yeah.
it's so busy. It makes
Yeah.
me want to buy it just to look closer at
Look
this
at it.
book.
Yeah. It's got some Chris Burnham too.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I like you introduced me to this guy. I've never heard of him until this cover. So that's
Yeah.
that must mean that there is something happening with this guy.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how they work stuff, you know.
But, and we'll see this throughout this show. DC is pulling artists that I've never heard of in to do some covers, like some incentive covers, and
Yeah.
that I like that. I like it. It's like
Yeah.
Joe, you have hope that they might just, if you have a good Instagram, they might reach out
Yeah.
and grab you.
That's right.
If you ever get that Kickstarter running, they might go, "Oh yeah, Joe's
Yeah,
cover would be great."
we got a meeting today actually.
So
Yeah, like I feel like one of the things DC does is they reach out and find somebody. They'll bring them in to do a couple covers while they're trying to find a book for them to do, whether it's a small book or whatever. And then, you know, they slowly build up the world of that artist. So that's cool. And they do that because those young artists and unheard of artists are cheap.
yeah, oh yeah, and then they do, if they get lucky and strike gold, like Sozo Maka,
Right.
who did like 4 covers, maybe 5. That Catwoman hit. Now they're
Yep.
putting her on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's not an interior person; she is strictly a cover person. But yeah, you're right. This artist screams, "Give me a small story to build upon a world." I mean, Sean Murphy screamed, "Give me my own world."
Yeah.
So, but then look at who's beside you. Got a Delgado Batman, and a Jock. I still think I like the one previous, but this is probably number 2 of the Jock covers we've seen here lately.
Yeah, I like that last one, man.
Yeah, and whichever.
If I would have seen it, I might have actually bought it, but I didn't. I didn't see it, and now it's way out the price range. So cool.
Hey,
Twig's back.
Twig,
huh?
Twig number 2. And I did the research, and I was like, these covers made me go, you know what I want to read? I actually want to know what this book's about. And I don't hate Scotty Young art. I like it. He has a style that I like. I really like it when he's not doing the baby covers. But he's a decent. His stories that he writes are fun. I like most of them.
I think the hype for this book is really what turned us off. It's probably going to be a good story. It was just like, man, you're hitting me over the head with this, and I find that totally annoying.
Well, and like these covers tell a story. It got so annoying that everyone went, cute character. Let's do a movie poster homage. And you had 60 plus covers. From what I could tell, now they might release a couple now in a couple of days. I have not seen stores do any more exclusives. I am curious if stores went, well, shit, we're sitting
we didn't sell any of these. I was wondering that too.
Like as a store, I wouldn't, if I didn't sell out right away of my cover, or not sell out, even if I didn't break even, then I would not even think about doing another cover for this.
But all 3 of these are so much more interesting than almost every one of of number 1, because it was all this like pinup, like poster.
Oh yeah,
and it told you nothing other than meet the character, and that wasn't enough to get you or I excited about something.
No. And every one of these does have a virgin version of it. So cool. Like the one on the left, Strom, who's the artist for the book, he has a 1 for 10 virgin. A cover of this. Then Scotty Young has a 1 for 50, I think, and a 1 for 100 black and white of this. And then Moko has a 1 for 25 virgin cover. And like her style is, people I know dislike it, but her style is perfect for a book like Twig. Like it's just
I like this cover.
Yeah.
By her, and I don't normally dig on the peach, but
but I like it when she gets to do some more fantasy elements and not. Yeah, I like it, and the eyeball's just awesome.
Yeah. The composition's really good, so that's fun. Ivy.
Yeah, this is it's number 1 issue. We're showing it to you. That you know exactly what they're doing. They're saying, "Hey, we're going to run Poison Ivy because we need a sexy girl cover book out," and that's what they did. They went and grabbed artists that are known for their sexy covers. Poison Ivy's relationship, and especially now that her sexuality is gone towards she's lesbian or bi, and this is the Pride Month for DC.
Right.
They're like, okay, we're gonna release a Poison Ivy #1. She's in a relationship with Harley, whatever that relationship looks like. But yet, what we do for the covers, we don't celebrate the relationship. We said, hey, we're gonna do sexy covers of Poison Ivy. So you got Cho,
Yep.
you got Low over here. Who there's also this is the foil version, but there's also the cardstock version of it for like $1 more.
Yeah.
You say you like the Cho cover best of these three.
Yeah.
I like the Robo cover best, but I'm not going to buy any of them. This is
Right.
if I bought any of this, is straight flip. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I buy them.
I like the Cho. It's very like vintage illustration, and the 1 for 25 reminds me of the Fables cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like straight up. Why does it say Fables on it?
You're right. I hadn't even thought about it. You're exactly right. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah. And you know, I was saying before the show, like this doesn't. I mean, we'll see. The book may be beautiful on the inside too.
Yeah.
And the story may be great. We don't know. It's hard to tell. There's so many creators out there, and some of them are amazing. And again, you bat 500, you're doing great in comics.
Yeah.
So I will look at it. But I looking at this and reading a little bit of the solicitation, it just felt like they were going, let's get us a Red Sonja book out here. You know, let's make that mainstream instead of this other thing. So.
I read the first issue. Did you ever get a chance to read the first issue?
No, but I flipped through it, and the artwork just wasn't grabbing me.
It's very kiddie, but if you give it through to the end, it took me, and I'm like, well, crap, I got to read issue 2 now. But these covers,
like so much better than the first ones.
Oh yeah, there was one. I bought the one cover that was decent for the.
Yeah. I mean, I held it in my hand because I was like you. I was like, man, this could be a great story. This could be the thing that makes me buy a Transformers book for the first time. But I love this Allison. I love this Vitruvian Man, Da Vinci homage, man. That's great. Dope.
And then the 1 for 10 is worthwhile. Like the last 1 for 10 was just, it didn't make me want to. Like you're freaking talking about the last Transformer. Why isn't he on the cover as like a badass Ronin type look?
Well, and the other thing, like I feel like the marketing for this book is like for me and you. It's like the kids that grew up with Transformers. This is like, oh, we all feel this like nostalgia for, oh my God, we're the last old guy still buying Transformers books. Like this is for us. But then when I opened the book, I didn't get that feel at all.
No.
And you know, it feels like Last Ronin, Old Man Logan, like that kind of thing. And then I opened the book and I was like, oh, this is not what I am looking for. Crap. No. But these covers are great. Like that. Yeah. That homage, the Da Vinci homage, man, it's such a striking image, like the original, and then every time it's done, I don't know if it's the old art teacher in me that is just like super happy that, you know, kids are getting, or anybody is seeing the connection between those things. But yeah, it gets me every time.
So Dark Crisis #1, it's DC's big event for the summer. They started it in the Free Comic Book Day book. I think last week or the week before we did an issue 0. We talked about a little bit. It really kicks off here. Solicitation. I wish I had a better image, guys. This is the homage, Jim Lee homage cover. It's just a regular price variant or whatever, but it's front and back, so it's sort of fun. But then you have your 1 for 25s. They actually have 2 1 for 25s. But my favorite cover here is this one in the middle by this guy, Stephen Beach. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
I meant to look
cover though.
Yeah, it takes me back to the old school Dark Horse, like those painted covers they did. I really dig it. This Dan Schoening, I've heard of him a little bit, but he's not a regular cover artist. So like I'm digging the fact that they're like we said earlier, they're bringing in these artists, throwing them on a cover, seeing who. But covers are tricky. I mean, it's in the speculation world, knowing what's going to take off, what people really like. I think the Beach cover people will like, but then you have this 1 for 100 Capullo cover, who's just everyone's favorite artist. I mean, I do like this. This is one he does with Dave McCraig. I think it's the other artist on there.
Yeah, cool.
But
is like cover B or C or something? Is it Nightwing doing the same pose?
Yes. Well, no, it's the cover. there's a Nightwing cover done by the artist who's doing Nightwing, Bruce Ronaldo, whatever. And he's running, so it looks like sort of like this similar.
Okay.
And then there's also there's a B cover of this. That's the card. This is the foil.
Okay.
So, but from what I understand from the solicitation, they've only done this like 4 times already. All the main heroes are gone, and now what are the new legacy? But at least this time they go, what are the legacy characters, and they own up to the fact that they have created, every one of these main heroes has a legacy that they started. So I'm not sure if there's any new characters created in the story. At least not. There might be a new bad guy, but I'll check it out. But I'm not diehard. DC is one of those. I wait to read it online.
Yeah. Oh, and it's Williamson and Samper or whatever, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, Williamson. I like. I mean, his Flash stories have been pretty good, but I haven't been reading them all. Like,
I mean, he's not a guy that I'm like, oh, I got to grab that book, or I got to at least check it out.
But I know there's people that are diehard, like they love the Flash stuff he's written. Yeah. So let's get some covers we like. Our boy Ben Oliver.
Yeah.
I mean, it will not. It's definitely going to go for double ratio. It's going to be for $50. It's a gorgeous cover. Which plug for Guma? I sent you the image. Oh,
I mean, nice. I already knew.
Yeah,
that was the one that I was like, I know everybody else is doing this. I'm trusting Ben Oliver. Yeah, and I was right. It's my favorite one.
Dude, guys, check out the Kickstarter for Guma. It has like 6-7 days left. The Ben Oliver cover got revealed on Sunday. It's gorgeous. Go to my Instagram. You can see what it looks like. Gorgeous cover.
It's awesome. Oh. Yeah, y'all are doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're sitting at 100 out. It'd be great if we could hit like 125, but sitting at 100, probably going to hopefully end 110. But I think 100 still really good for a very first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Here in the center, Dark Knights of Steel, Albuquerque. Sometimes I'm not as big a fan of this. The Batman, I love holding a sword. You got to have that.
Yeah.
But something about Wonder Woman's hair, the way it is, bothers me.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's Batman holding a sword. Got to show that.
Always good. Yeah.
This is Bartel DC 1 for 20. DC Pride issue 1 for 25. I think there's also a foil version, or maybe this is the foil version. It's of course already selling for $50,
right?
Or 100 actually. It might even be more. Like it's way up their price already.
Wow.
Of course, a couple of weeks ago I wrote, and you and I had a discussion about this because in that Batman issue, they almost kiss in Batman: The Dark Knight, or the Zakarsky book, which I haven't read the next issue to know if there's anything that comes from that. But it drives me nuts that this cover sells because she's kissing and no one's complaining. Everyone's excited,
right?
But John Kent and his boyfriend kiss on a cover, and everyone pitches a fit.
Yeah,
they're
crazy.
I mean, I understand. I mean, I straight up know, but I wish people would own up to the fact that they can have problem with one and not problem with the other.
Yeah.
But that's all. I can get too preachy on that, so I'm gonna drop all that.
Oh, look, Jaws. Awesome.
You got to throw a homage cover. I have not read any issue of Monkey Prince. Know nothing about it outside of that.
I looked through the first issue. It seemed fun, which I wasn't really super expecting.
Yeah.
But this cover's great.
Hey, Marv appreciates me going off a little bit.
Hey, real talk.
He won our free book back in the day. He's every time I do one of the contests, it's some guy in the UK who wins it. I'm like, really? Why can't it be like the guy in Knoxville down the road? But no,
right.
Which I love sending it to you, but I've had that happen to me. I think 3 times of like the 3 times I've given away a book.
Nice.
But
Jaws is good. Moving towards 300 in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I wish I cared more about it. I wish that I like Larry Hama. I think he's a good storyteller. I think he's a good artist. I don't think they pair artists with him that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, and I know G.I. Joe has a following. There are lots of dudes that look just like me who freaking love G.I. Joe. Some of the covers are amazing. This one's great.
Yeah, I love it. And there's a B cover that's really good. and it has more of a flatness to it, but it's like a
Hmm.
reflection of old Snake Eyes and Don Marino Snake Eyes or whatever. Who's this? The middle. There's old Snake Eyes in the back in the picture, and Don
Yeah,
Marino in the front.
that's
Who's?
the Kurayami or whatever.
Mm,
He was an apprentice
okay,
to Snake Eyes, and he became Snake Eyes after Snake Eyes died.
gotcha.
And
So
I would think Snake Eyes died. Um,
yeah,
I would think that 300 is just bringing Snake Eyes back, right? There'll
mm.
be 1,000 covers for it, including a 300 Spider-Man homage, right, with Snake Eyes on the cover.
Oh, you know they're gonna get like Clayton Crane to do it or something like that because he does all the.
Yeah. Um, I don't know that that's true, but I mean I'm not following anything, but
Yeah.
that seems like the thing. Like he's been like when he died, because I read
Mm.
that arc because I was like, what are you doing? He like falls into this thing and it explodes. But I'm thinking maybe Cobra's had him trapped
Mm.
this whole time. So well, that's my guess. We'll see what happens.
You definitely are more. I have like the Moreno arc, but I have not read it because I was like, I
Yeah,
don't know really what's going on, but I have a bunch of these.
yeah.
Then
There's some good covers back in there too.
yeah, there are some really like the B covers,
Yeah,
and the thing is, they're hard to find. Like and if you didn't pick them up as they came out, GI Joe books, even the non-incentives to track some of these down are really hard. Especially any Snake Eyes cover. Star Trek, just it's a dinosaur skeleton. That's
right.
it's the A cover is not whoever this character is has a really interesting look to him.
Yeah.
The A cover has like you get a close up of his face, but I don't know anything about Star Trek books. I have some to try to sell, but nothing about them. But yeah,
Yeah, the only other cover we liked that I don't think we threw up there was the Batman Beyond, the Christian Ward. Did you see
yeah.
it?
I,
It's
I
cool.
debated because I always pump Christian Ward so much, and if you
I
guys
know.
don't know, it's a white Christian Ward cover with Batman Beyond in the mouth of the character.
Character, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
This Sank is good. I mean, it's
because
Logan with a hat, with the patch. Oh, awesome.
yeah,
Do I
this
care at
yeah
all about Fortnite?
no, and there are some really good covers for these Fortnite stuff, but if you don't play Fortnite, I don't believe it's gonna. When the DC Fortnite came out, I don't know if Joe. I jumped on it and I bought like I picked up one issue and immediately turned around and sold it for $20 because
Right.
all the Fortnite parents all got told by their 10-year-old kids, "Go buy this right now. I need this code."
Yeah. Because
And
there was a
then
code.
yeah, and even if Marvel's doing the same thing, unless Marvel, which I don't think Fortnite would agree to, but unless Marvel said, you know what, our 1 for 50 has a special code that you can only get with the 1 for 50. I mean, what happened with DC? Oh wait, we're going to release a second print, and you can get the code now. It was like, oh, so no parents quickly realized I can just wait and buy it for cheap instead of rushing out to buy it right away. Because evidently, if you collected all 6 codes for the Fortnite book, you got to build the super Batman armor or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. This is a 1 for 100 Spider-Man. This is a Fortnite Spider-Man character that's very popular, but it's selling. It's selling for a ratio plus right now already. I could check. It's worth. I mean, it's sort of fun. I'm because every freaking Spider character has a buzz about them. It
Right.
might be worth strictly because it's a Spider-Man themed character. You never know what Spider-Verse would pull this out to appear in a later Spider-Man book.
Right.
Then you of course have Muscular Jane Foster, which after the trailer, this could be a very popular book because that's all anyone talked about when they saw Natalie Portman. Besides, who is this Jane Foster store? Then it's like, dude, check out her muscles.
Yeah. And I heard online that they're CGI.
The muscles are.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that. I hadn't read that too much into the.
Yeah. I heard some guy, actually our buddy, Mr. Cardinal from Ohio, sent me a link and he was like, check this out. And it was this guy just going off on CGI and whatever on YouTube. And one of the things he was talking about was how like they want everything to be so fair, you know, like, so we've got female Thor, we've got male Thor, and Chris Hemsworth goes through hell to get his body to look the way it does. And then Natalie Portman walks in, and her arms are just, she looks so tiny because she is so tiny.
Yeah.
And they just decided, oh, well, we'll just beef her up in post. And the guy on YouTube was pissed. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's funny how mad you are.
Yeah. And it's also one of those, Marvel's also been known to put things in the trailers and exaggerate in the CGI things that are not the way they are in the movies.
Yeah, well, but at this time, probably, because that movie doesn't come out until what, July,
yeah.
Yeah, they've still got a month, and sometimes they're still tweaking.
Yeah.
So there will be things in a trailer that get cut from the final. Like that happens all the time. I remember in Star Wars when Force Awakens came out, there were a couple scenes or whatever in the trailer that didn't make it into the movie, and everybody's going, wait, where was that cool thing that happened in the trailer? And it's because it got cut or it got switched and changed, and I think that's a really interesting, to me, that's kind of, my weird obsession with like mistranslations of the Bible. Yeah. That's kind of like lands in that same place that I find interesting. Anyway, let's move on.
We're getting really preachy on this thing.
Yeah, I'm getting weird.
Covers we like. These are Star Wars. You said it's a reprint book?
From what I can tell, it's probably
like its first appearances.
Three issues. I know from the Star Wars, the Jason Aaron Star Wars, the Mike Mayhew with him and versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah, is that issue 20 maybe?
Yes, it's one of those. It's one of the old man Kenobi journal entries.
Okay.
I think it's in there. Just by looking at the solicitation, it seemed like a lot of reprinted, like just the best stories that he's been in.
And it's a big book. It's like an $8 purchase. There's this cover, which is the A cover, and the B cover's a photo variant
from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, but there's no incentive, so that I think you're probably definitely right. It's probably just reprints.
Yeah, I don't think there will be anything. I think this will grab people who love Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to capitalize on. Oh, I didn't know that character was a thing, and that's smart.
Yeah,
it'll get them people buying other books once they find out. Oh, he was in this. He's in Dr. Afra.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. Savage Avengers. There is no incentive for this book, but this is a Frisson cover. People collect Frisson. This has drawn my eyes every time I look at it. Like every time I go through solicitation, I was like, I like it. I don't like it. I like it. I don't like it. It's Frisson. Frisson always does that, but I love the way her things she does with eyes works beautifully for Cloak.
Yeah, I like this cover, and I'm not a huge Frisson fan, but this has a Greg Smallwood feel to it to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, she kind of borders on that a lot of the time anyway, but this one works. The positive and negative space is nice.
Yeah, I think I liked it overall, but it's just weird. I'm not Frisson I've liked, and then it gotten so burned out because every cover is like J. Scott Campbell. They eventually start doing all the same. Thor. This is about Turin Clark. This is the one for 25. It's just fun. He's freaking sitting on frost giant heads. I mean, like I like this. I can't tell if he's playing an instrument or just like eating a sandwich. Oh, he's picking his nails. Like, I mean, the nonchalantness of the decision on the cover is great.
Is this part of the Banner War?
Yeah, I think it's the 4th part, maybe. Okay. Which I haven't read any of them, so I have no clue what's going on in the story.
Is Hulk going to become Thor?
I think that I've seen images of Thor Hulk. I don't know if it happens in this issue or it happens in the Omega issue. Right. And I'm like, do I really care? There'll be a huge buzz for a moment, and then you'll eventually find out. Well, oh wait, there is a Thor Hulk in some random issue of Secret Wars 12 or something like that.
Right.
Now let's get into some indie. Oh,
yeah.
You told me about this.
Yeah, because when this book first dropped and we were like, what the heck is this book? What is happening? I had to go through and see the rest of the series, what they had in solicitation. And when I saw this, my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Because the glowing eyes and, oh, man, it's dope.
So this is Frank Frazetta's The Death Dealer thing that Opus Comics has started. This is issue 2. There's a 1 for 20 trade dress, and this is the 1 for 30 Virgin cover. It's gorgeous by Sync. It's a great cover.
It's terrifying. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. buy a whole lot of ratio, but
yeah.
I might.
And from what I see, the one for 20 is selling for around 15 to 20. The one for 30 is selling for around 35, 40. So people know the Delado sold for around $40. It made the top 10 list for a little bit. The gorgeous covers. I don't know how many. There sure does seem like there's a lot more available than I thought there would be.
Right, I agree.
I
I think they're pushing this book because it seems like they're kind of building a Death Dealer universe, right?
Yeah. But the other ones look so bad. What was that last one? The Disturbed comics, the Disturbed music band with the Todd McFarlane sort of cover.
Yeah, no, that was awful. But I don't know. We'll see. I would pull the trigger on this book. It's awesome.
Oblivion Song 36 supposed to be the last issue. From what I've seen, it is. The story ends. I've off and on read this series. I think I read through the first 30, so I haven't read the last arc, so I don't really know what happens in this last arc. But I read up into then. I actually did a first appearance list for the first half of those series.
What do you think about that book?
I would,
because I've only read the first arc. I think
it's fascinating. Like it's a book that's frustrating because you can't really get a handle on who's good and who's bad. Mm-hmm. And then it's which is good. It's one of those. That's what the great thing about indie books, just like Invincible. Kirkman does that really well.
Yeah.
You find characters you identify with, but if you want them to be the hero, they're not always the hero.
Yeah.
If you want the bad guy to be the bad guy, they're not always the bad guy.
Firepower. That was the other thing I picked up this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where Kirkman is like just, I mean, it's so easy to read, like, and this doesn't, like, the first arc of this was weird.
Yeah.
I kept feeling like we were gonna switch genres.
Mm-hmm.
Does he do any of that? You know how Saga, like, he'll kind of like, oh, suddenly it's a Western for a while.
This is all end of the world, post-apocalyptic, but then you spend a chunk of time and like readapting into the main world, and then going, but how are we going to go back to the old world? Which world is better once you've been in one place for a while?
Yeah.
So talk to me about this one.
I just read the solicitation. I loved this cover. I was so glad you threw it up there. It's ironically mentions the same thing in the solicitation that the Aquaman, the Ram V mentions, this Point Nemo, which I guess is, I don't know if this is real. It must be, where space programs for the last, like, I guess 60, 70 years, when things leave into orbit, the stuff that falls, they try to make it land in this, like, one place that's the furthest from land in the ocean. And these guys in this go to salvage a spaceship that's landed there, like crashed or something. And then it's the solicitation is basically like, and they find like unbelievable horrors there. So who knows? Like, but the cover's terrifying. So that's good.
The A cover's good too, but this 1 for 15 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
By Mon House, which I had never heard of this artist. Which a lot of times on Aftershock, I've never heard of the artist.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that I own more than like 3 Aftershock books, but that one's pretty cool.
There's a couple more indie. I wrote an article about after school. I've read it. It's just fun. These are the writers of this book, guys. Did Moon Knight's. They're the story creators for Moon Knight. So they wrote this after school book. It's fun. It's a good sci-fi sort of, but from what I understand, this is a Skybound going to present after school, and then each issue that comes out is a completely new team.
Right. So that's what I read too. Cool. So
it was definitely a really good read. I put these 2 books together, The Ward and ETER, because
it's the same thing, man.
It is exactly, well, sort of. One's more alien based, one's more fairies and goblins.
Yeah.
I read this is ETER number 2.
I didn't read the first one.
It's fun. It's a good. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited that it's continuing on. This is a Cho cover. Cho's fun when he does these little just random goofy covers with the word bubbles. When he puts a word bubble, I love it every time. Like, it's just fun because he's stupid fun.
Cool.
And then a few more books to look at here. This is a book that you thought was coming out, and they pushed it back 1 week. Yeah. What's this? Do you remember what this is about?
Space I think it's about a guy who really, really wants to be an astronaut. He finally gets accepted to a program, and then he's sent on his mission, and everything goes to hell. I think that's kind of, depending on what it looks like on the interior, it sounds like my kind of book, right?
Yeah. And the A cover looks great too.
Yeah.
Like this is the one for 15 instead from Aftershock. So you might own 4 Aftershock books by the end of next week.
By the end of next week. Yeah, we'll see.
One other book that's on this list here, the Artist Elite Primer Blue. That's a new comic book group. There's a red one that I think came out last week, or this week, but on the first. The blue, it's basically their brand new label where a bunch of artists got together and said, hey, we're going to do our own books. All the books remind me of artists trying to do Kickstarter books. There are a bunch of the artists that would be like on Top Cow, or they would, it feels very 90s. So if you want 90 books that look like they came out of the 90s image, that's what this feels like. Doesn't mean they're bad or good. It's just, that's what it feels like. Tyler Kirkman's one of them. A.L. Garza is one of them. But yeah, this is like the 3-page books, 3-page issues, whatever you can get if you want first appearances. Which is DC. This is one of the Nubia Queen of the Amazons. This is the one for 25. Might be worth checking out. The Multiversity Teen Justice #1. Did you look at the illustration for that?
Mm-mm.
It looks like it's a new Teen Justice. So I mean, like young Teen Titans, Young Justice put together, but it's a bunch of characters who have had their appearances here recently put together as a team. I don't know anything more, but I tried to like look up each one, and one of them was like appeared last year in some random obscure book, premiered last year, and they're putting them all together. So I don't know. It might be worth grabbing that. Just there might be first appearances within it. And then finally, last few books, we talked about most of them. Cyberforce 30th anniversary. They're re-releasing the first issue covers, and there are some that are 1 for 10s. But the only difference being it says just saying Cyberforce. It says Cyberforce, and right in the middle it says 30th anniversary. But it's almost identical to the original. I don't know how popular that be. This is Venom number 8.
Well, you know, he did that like omnibus or whatever on Kickstarter, and it made so much freaking money. I was shocked.
And
I mean, you can go to any comic book store in America and find a run of Cyberforce for $2. Like,
but something about tapping in, and then also there's the other element behind a Kickstarter when you feel like you're supporting the artist.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, he's still rocking hard at Image, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Top Cow's still putting out stuff. I mean, you occasionally, but they're tapped into nostalgia, and that's some of their stuff. They're figuring that out.
We're old enough to have nostalgia for Image books. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting the 30th anniversary for a lot of that stuff.
I mean, this idiot who bought a Prophet #1 last week for $1.
Oh yeah,
like I'm right. I'm guilty of it as much as anyone else.
Oh yeah, guys, thank you so much for catching us. Please please subscribe. We are typically Thursday nights. We're doing a Friday morning show. Just the way our schedule's worked out, we will try to be back on our Thursday night schedule. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you want to see. But subscribe. Thanks for being here, guys.